understand the production that we saw in that last game is not normal, but Florida has been known for their overall depth when it comes to hitting and their talent. So we're probably not going to see that again, but hopefully they don't fall off a cliff here in this championship game. I mean, the first one went 11 innings, and then they dominated the second matchup. So hopefully they're just getting some momentum, and they're hot right now, hitting-wise. Let's go.
What's interesting, that's right. What's interesting to me is that LSU's bullpen up until yesterday was spectacular. I mean, how many consecutive innings did they have without allowing a run? Like it was like 15, 16, 7, something ridiculous. And it's something where that was the biggest concern coming into the College World Series was, could LSU's bullpen do just enough with outstanding starting pitching to make sure that they're not some massive liability? And for the most part, that bullpen's been spectacular. It wasn't yesterday, and boy, it was bad yesterday. But it is something where now you're going to have starting pitchers in reliever roles. They may be, on short rest, and that means, you're going to have some variance as far as what to expect out of them. But this, to me, Joe, is something where we weren't necessarily wrong in believing this LSU bullpen was going to be a liability. It's just that it came all at once. And if it's going to come all at once, then that's probably better than stringing it out through several games. So I look at this and say, it is a bit of an unknown, but I do think that this number is a little too lopsided to where even if you have a Florida ticket to win the College World Series, I don't think hedging is appropriate here. I think it's okay to continue betting on the Gators.
If LSU gets a lead and then the minute they get in trouble, I think Skeens is coming in. I don't think it matters, like, the amount of pitches. He's going to be out there and be like, no, just give me the ball. If we have a lead and it's late, like Ed said, he's just going to say, give me the ball, let's go. Because also the profile on him and the reason why he's probably going to be the number 1 overall pick is that he's built like a horse. Like, he can handle the workload. Like, he's built like a dude that can throw all these pitches and be fine, like, and just turn around on 3 days and come out and close this game out potentially. I think we're going to see him for sure. I think you're right to question for how long, but I think if LSU gets out to a lead early, they'll try to push it off as much as possible, and it's late. The second they get in trouble, he's coming out.
Not only that, guys, but I have my little good luck charm here.
Have you had that the whole time?
Yes, I have, actually. Yeah.
See, now I'm worried that you revealed it too early. That makes me that's scary.
Does he have
yesterday's a name? Text?
It's just as scary as this, though, right? Look at that.
Okay.
Look at that.
No,
what
I'm
do you
happy.
think, Florida Gators? Should we hedge this bet? Oh, wait. It's a stuffed animal. Doesn't talk. We're not the last show. They have more than enough hitting and more than enough pitching to at least stay competitive throughout the rest of the season. But, Joe, I'm with you that there's not one obvious place to go as far as figuring out how to bet on the Yankees going forward. There are other American League ball clubs that could very well make the playoffs and surpass the Yankees, but it is a really close race right now. And so I look at this and say, it's important news. I want to keep an eye on it. Definitely, we thought that the home run leader market was such to where Judge had a massive tax on him, that it probably wasn't worth it, even though his offensive numbers suggested that he's that much better a power hitter than everybody else.
There's a lot going on, and this time of year, we're constantly going to reference what teams are going to do at the deadline. And another thing is, at a third baseman, because Josh Donaldson just got benched for the third straight game. So what is going to happen there? And I'm not saying he shouldn't have, based on his performance this year. That is well-deserved. But it's that New York noise that's going to continue, along with Judge. Now, maybe they just kind of change course on what they are mid-season. There is that possibility with the deadline. And I mentioned Rodon. He's on his rehab start. And, guys, Cortez is going to start pitching from a mound in a week. So post-deadline or post-All-Star break, this might be a team where it's not just Cole. Now, if we go to the top of the rotation, you can be viewed as a team that can win some lower-scoring games when you're rolling out Cole, Cortez, and Rodon every fifth day. Now, it's just a matter of those guys staying healthy. But, yeah, I'm not completely writing them off. I'm just not interested in them. And I never believe that I'm getting a fair price market-wise. So I've really got to believe 100% in the Yankees if I'm going to put some sort of futures bet on them. I'm not, but we know they're going to add, right? We know they're going to do something, and that's going to be the big story. Are the majority of teams thinking that they're in the mix? Because there are a couple of really terrible divisions. People have decided that it's Carroll, and if it's not Carroll, the only other player that could jump into this conversation is De La Cruz. And we do see this every few years. Now, it's tough. Usually, it feels like with the Rookie of the Year that they will give it to a pitcher, but it's got to be a year where there's not a position player that's right there. Like last year when Strider was beaten out by his teammate in Harris. The last time we saw it was 2020. I don't want to say throw it out. I don't want to say it doesn't count for Devin Williams, but it was a 60-game season. So it's a little bit different. Before that, Michael Fulmer. There was DeGrom in 2014, Jose Fernandez. It feels like a decade or so ago, it was much more common to see a pitcher win this award. Maybe because now we understand that position players are so much more valuable. But that's how we get the great number of 40-50, right? You have two guys that people are talking about for NL Rookie of the Year, in Carroll and De La Cruz, and they've been awesome. And Perez is in a smaller market. People are not talking about him, but when you break down the numbers, all right, we've had 9 starts. The K rate is almost 30%. The only players in the National League that have a higher strikeout rate, the only starters are Strider and Blake Snell. That's the list. So if this continues, maybe he's going to enter that conversation. We've been backing him as a show game by game, but as far as NL Rookie of the Year, he's not there right now. It's just Carroll or De La Cruz.
There's so much at play here. You've got the sale coming up, which should breathe new life and some excitement into the organization. Of course, you've got Magic Johnson as part of the new ownership group as well. You've got Eric Bieniemy, who's coming over from Kansas City. I mean, that's really exciting, but it's Sam Howell. So it's like, do they cancel out, as Paul likes to say? Yes, you've got an exciting OC, but it's Sam Howell, people. I don't know how we're getting so excited about that. You got Terry McLaurin. And then, of course, Chase Young should be healthy and eager and ready to go, but there's been a lot of question marks around him too, off the field, that has the fan base down and doubting him, his motivation, and all of that. I expect Chase to be back. I mean, this defensive line can be really good, which is important because they've got to face some very good quarterbacks even in their own division. I think it comes down to their own quarterback situation with Sam Howell. I just think that will be the biggest question mark for me.